You're trying to get 2 tabs though to open? Maybe one at a time's a good idea.
Sure. What could possibly go wrong? Do you even know what episode this is?
I have no idea.
Yeah, exactly.
300 and something.
Try 314.
14.
Yeah,
Remember a couple weeks ago when you said 200 and whatever?
Yeah, I went back in time.
Yeah, you shaved 100 episodes off.
What?
Welcome to the Vices Interimo 30 Minutes to Kill podcast.
You were listening to the Vix I don't even know how to say it. Interimo. Is that how you pronounce it?
We've already played this by now. I think I went back into the archives and dragged out your sister Linda freaking out in honor of her recent visit.
Oh, no.
So everybody already knows that you're listening to Vices Interimo.
Or whatever it was she said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
30 Minutes to Kill, more or less. A horror movie review podcast featuring horror, suspense, psychological thrillers. Yeah. I screwed all that up, didn't I?
Where's the nice one that I wrote for you?
It's here on the clipboard.
That's garbage that you're looking at.
It's all garbage. So anyhow,
that's a later segment.
That's our garbage in, garbage out. So this is an on-the-road episode, aside from our incredibly chaotic start.
We're not on the road right now, though.
This is ticking me off here.
Stop clicking stuff.
This is bullshit. Yeah, where was I? What are you
trying to tell people that this is the Vices Interimo show, a horror movie review podcast. I think you have entertainment in there somewhere. That works. We don't do just horror. We also do thrillers and, psychological thrillers. Suspense. That's it. Yeah. And we generally have, how many segments? 3 plus the review. So that would be 4 segments.
That would be 4.
Yes, we'll start with our Laid to Rest, which is exactly what it sounds like. We're going to put to rest some old topics, tie up any loose ends from previous episodes regarding anything that we may have talked about. And then we will have our movie review. This week what is it?
Insidious, The Last Key.
The Last Key.
Yeah.
And then after our movie review, we will go into Garbage In, Garbage Out, where we discuss anything else we might have watched this last week, or read, or played. And then we'll wrap it all up with a Crawling Chaos segment, if you have something today, because I don't.
All right.
And that's usually a topic or factoid that we've never discussed before on this podcast. So it's always a new topic. Or some new information, or,
Sometimes silly, sometimes serious, most always chaotic.
That's it.
I'm ready to just shut this whole thing off and just go to enjoy her Morbid Monday and the Legion podcast. I think I'd rather just listen to him talk.
You're ready to shut what off? Shut off our podcast?
Exactly.
Dang, I thought we were finally rolling along.
We are rolling along.
I was all enthusiastic. I said all of that without notes in front of me.
I'm very impressed.
Hey.
So our first segment then is Laid to Rest.
Yeah.
We will get straight to that.
Let's move into it.
Last week I said something about Michael Biehn being Terminator's dad. Obviously, That is not what I intended to state.
Skynet's Terminator's dad. I knew what you meant at the time,
enough.
And I usually, when you say silly stuff like that, I know what you mean. I know you didn't mean to say that.
And I'm sure anybody else listening knows that I meant.
I should have said something.
John Connor's dad.
Yes.
From, really, come on.
Reese.
What the heck?
Reese.
Yes. So.
Reese, right?
And we brought him up then because he was in the previous episodes. What do you call it? Psych 9.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's why we brought that up. then one last time, touching on Kevin Smith, I can't believe you gave me that lead in, but I did mention that last week as we filmed and talked about the previous episode, Holidays.
Yeah.
You brought up Kevin Smith. The one, going back to that episode.
I probably didn't bring him up.
You did, because you said how much we hate him, or how much you hate him, or something akin to that.
I don't think I ever said well,
something akin to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't generally say I hate people.
Okay. Anyhow, the reason I was bringing him up, because I mentioned last week, I forgot my notes. I had everything together except for the notes.
I think I said he was an overrated hack and has everybody duped.
I think that was it verbatim.
I'm sure he's a lovely person.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. The only reason I was going to talk about him last week about holidays is I mentioned him during the Easter episode, or rather the Easter segment.
Right.
And how I thought that might be him. And since most everything he does these days are just dick and fart jokes and smoking weed.
These days?
Well, Kevin Smith stuff, a lot of it. Okay.
Yeah, he's a one-trick pony.
So I did bring that up as being his because I thought of the movie Dogma.
Okay.
And he got a lot of good dogma, religious rhetoric and stuff in there.
Right.
And stuff pertaining to Catholicism and religion and stuff like that. So that's what made me think when that came on that this was going to be him because
the Easter one definitely had religious themes.
Yes, and
they were a bit twisted, but
very twisted.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so that's what I was leaving that alone and moving forward. I am going to then say that here, let me let's hear what the trailer sounds like, and then we will let you read the synopsis for Insidious, The Last Key.
People who need help with matters that can't be explained come to me. These hauntings can be terrifying things. I should know. I've faced many evils in my life. This was different, though. The haunted house is my family's house. If we can find out what it is, we can stop this curse. To end this evil, I need to go deeper into the further. I don't have memories from this place. I have scars. I am going to find it, and I'm going to finish it. Please, there's someone right in front of you. I don't see anything. Be careful. You're going to touch it.
You want to go ahead and read that?
Sure, if I can.
Okay.
Oh, wow, it's like one sentence. Okay, so now I'm going to say just really briefly for everyone who's been listening to us forever, knows that we have Netflix, DVDs, that's what we get in the mail. We just canceled it. We don't have access to anything Netflix anymore, and that's where I always would read the synopsis
That's okay.
for movies, and they were...
Go ahead.
Well, they
what?
were at least long and tried a little harder. Some of these on Internet Movie Database are very brief.
Okay.
And I'm going to miss reading everyone's reviews on there.
That's true.
Yeah. So anyway, no more Netflix. You probably will never hear us ever again refer to that.
Yeah, you will.
Sad. Okay. Insidious, The Last Key. Parapsychologist Dr. Elise Rainier faces her most fearsome and personal haunting yet in her own family home.
All right.
Short and sweet.
To the point and on point for a change.
Dr. Elise Rainier. Did you
Is
go
she
by
doctor?
doctor?
I don't know if she's doing my doctor.
A doctor of psychology. Parapsychology.
Parapsychology.
I don't know.
And,
Of course, played by the lovely Lynn Shay, who we love. Or I love her. I love her. And I love the character of Elise. I'm
only laughing because I'm thinking of the first time that I saw her and took notice of her.
Yeah.
Was in Kingpin, and she played just a horrible, awful, shrewish woman. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Well, and she played mom to the boy in that movie that the title we can't remember.
Oh.
And that was pretty nuts.
But anyhow.
So we actually review this on the way home from seeing it at the theater.
From seeing it in the theater.
So we're about to hear our, look at that beautiful photo of her. I just love her. I wish, never mind.
So, what are you looking for? Is there anything else that you can think of that...
No.
Oh, you're trying to find that movie that we...
Yeah, I thought we'd be nonchalant about it, but like you just...
I just called you out.
Yeah.
You know
Look at
what?
all the stuff she's been in.
Let's listen to
and
what we had...
I don't like the job they gave her to do in the Ouija movies.
Oh, true enough.
Like, she's Elise. To me, like, she's a lovely person. I wish she was my aunt or my she is somebody who I would want in my life.
Okay.
So I don't like seeing her as horrible,
bitter,
crazy
people.
Yeah.
All right.
But wow, she's been in so much stuff, and I think she's willing to, she'll climb in there and do just about anything.
Absolutely.
So she's a very versatile actress, and yeah.
Let's hear what we had to say immediately after seeing the movie.
She was in something called Big Ass Spider. What is that?
Sounds like an awesome movie we need to review.
Anyway, sorry.
So, Insidious, The Last Key.
Yes.
You knew it was coming out, so I'm glad you weren't startled by the approach of the recording device.
I'm getting used to this.
You should. Hang on to this, and I'm going to turn the radio down.
Okay.
So, Insidious, The Last Key, what, any initial thoughts on it?
Any initial thoughts?
Yeah.
You mean now that I've seen it?
Now that you've seen it, yes.
Well, I was excited to see it.
Okay.
And I knew I would enjoy it a lot.
Okay.
And I did enjoy it a lot.
Okay. My initial thought is I think I like it the best of all the installments so far.
It was pretty darn good.
I'm liking, for me anyway.
I love all of them anyway already.
Exactly. And this one
and I love
built
Elise.
on the last.
I love Elise, and I just love Elise.
So
and
getting
her little outfit there. Her two her sidekicks.
Her sidekicks, not sidekicks.
The sidekick and the sidekicks.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was really nice having another one centered more around her, and
and getting to see a little bit of her backstory.
Yeah.
There were, so let's talk about it a little bit. So you get, it starts in 1953, I believe, and
you get to see her as a child.
You get to see her as a child, exactly. I don't think that's a spoiler. I mean,
well, no.
For us, watching so many horror films and, so on, creepy. Yes, the sky is very creepy. All the fires and stuff and all that action.
Yeah, there's a dark cloud over L.A.
We're coming down off the mountain, the Palos Verdes mountain there, where the theaters we normally go to.
They're hills, really.
Hills, yeah. And so we can see an ominous cloud resting over all of L.A. But,
that sounds about right.
Yes. So back to the movie.
Yes.
The story picks up where, in rather typical fashion, you have a small child that has a gift in quotes, of seeing dead people. And her dad wants to beat it out of her. I mean, I don't think that's giving too much away to say that. And it's kind of typical, I mean, of that type of story, I think.
Okay.
But, so I guess that's my point. There are certain elements that were predictable and stuff, but still enjoyable. The jump scare or two got me.
I don't think anything was that predictable.
No, okay. Maybe it's predictable for us, then, is what I'm assuming.
Well, yeah, I guess we've talked before about, all these shows, all the haunting and the real, paranormal stories and things you see on TV. They always have a common thread, which is Dad always thinks it's a bunch of baloney and wants you to just knock it off. And
moms and the kids are more sensitive.
Yeah, a lot of times Dad is gets to be a little bit abusive. And
right.
What's going on here?
I don't know.
There's a policeman standing in the middle of the street.
I thought I heard
What's he trying to do?
I heard him. Is there a funeral
Get run over?
Or something?
I don't know.
Weird.
That was really weird because everyone's just driving around him.
Yeah.
Okay. So in that way, but yeah, I in typical Insidious fashion for me, it was, I was going to say it was a fun ride. It's always a fun ride, even when there's, dark or sad or, serious topics. It's always colorful,
I
guess.
Yeah.
It's not boring.
Right.
For people that don't like a slow burning movie, it's not a slow burn. It gets right along to the point.
Yeah.
Lots of scares, lots of action, lots of things to think about, lots of really great acting, so a little bit of humor put in there to lighten the heavy spots.
Right. Now, I'm always going to go back to these things. Now, I guess you pointed it out, and we talk about being light and fun. We're not trying to be insensitive to anybody that suffered as a kid.
They said it was a fun ride.
Right. So there are highs and lows and happy and sad, and I mean, that's what's the best movies.
I think there's always sensitive topics in there because there's always things involving children.
Yeah.
Almost always. There's often been things involving abuse, or there's always some kind of
tragedy. Well, I mean, ghost story,
serial killer, or a bad person doing bad things to good people. There's always that in there,
right?
So
ghost stories almost always going to include death at some point, right?
Yeah, and it's always a sad story,
right? So anyhow, having said all that, very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Glad that we saw it in the theater, though I'm sure we probably could catch it elsewhere. I always like to see the Insidious ones on the big screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love those. I love all of them. And I do feel like they're getting stronger.
Yeah.
They're just getting more and more enjoyable. Which
is good. With a certain amount of tie-ins to me, the Insidious films are done the right way. Everything you want to see with the sequels, whether the sequels wind up being prequels or sequels, or does that make sense?
Yeah. And that's what's fun about them too, because they overlap a little bit.
Yeah, just a little.
If you're paying attention and you're enjoying the story and you're noting characters or events, if you're one of those kind of movie watchers that pick up on all those things. That makes it more enjoyable too.
Yeah, absolutely. So you get brief cameos in there that...
Or you're like the people behind us that just chit-chat and laugh and make fun through the whole time.
I don't know what... Luckily, they kept that till the end of the picture.
Oh, yeah, there would have been a problem otherwise.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, what was up? It's like the final scene. It's real quiet. And somebody is talking... And I guess just going the way we would normally.
Sorry, obviously this is an on-the-road episode.
You don't know how to get to Costco?
they've moved our Costco.
We've been there before.
I know we've been there, but I don't usually drive.
Just go through the pull-in where we normally wouldn't, just drive all the way through.
Sorry,
It'll be fine.
Okay. Anyhow. You were talking about the folks waiting for the fire into the film.
Well, it's the end of the film. You want to hear what she's saying, and like she says something, and the guy in the back of the theater repeats what she says, and everybody giggles. Like how, and it wasn't even anything funny or dumb, or it was just she's on the phone having a conversation. And, like, the guy repeats what she says, and the people start laughing. Like, go home, asshats. That's why I don't go to the movies, is people like that. Don't be one of those people. If you're one of those people, you're an asshat. God, I hate that.
Indeed. I was even able to put up with a guy sleeping at the beginning of the movie.
I think he was just breathing heavy.
I think he was sleeping for a few minutes there, but they started to ramp up the action, and he managed to stay awake for the rest of the film.
Well, then I'm glad there weren't very many quiet moments in this movie. If he was going to fall asleep through each one of those.
Indeed. Anyhow, back to the movie. The movie was great.
It was. What did you think of this time around's creature?
I was fascinated, and I want to know more. That's the way it should be. I want to know more about all of the...
Yeah.
You know, that's a good job, and that's what I was saying about Insidious franchise. I think if they keep putting the work into it and the effort into it, the story and everything else, it can be here for a long time. It doesn't have to get stale and boring, or at least that's my take on it. Yeah,
I was thinking about that. It's funny you should say story, because in the middle, somewhere in the middle of the movie, in my mind, I was thinking, somebody is just a really good storyteller. Whoever's writing this stuff and whoever worked on this one, or that's what they're great at, is telling a good story.
Yeah.
And of course, everything else comes together to pull it off.
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, the sets, the acting, the full, everything. I think it's just I guess I'm going to. I can't quite give it a 5.
Okay.
But a 4.5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Easily.
And I'm not sure what I would change if given the opportunity or the necessity. I'm not even sure what I would change.
Yeah.
I can't quite call it a 5. I don't know why, though.
Okay. That's all right.
Yeah. Okay. What's your number?
Well, I agree. Definitely a strong 4.5.
Yeah.
If not 4 3/4.
Okay. And a highly recommend?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's kind of brief, but that's our review on Insidious, The Last Key.
The Last Key.
Yeah. So, that's what we had to say after immediately seeing the movie.
Yeah.
She was a nurse, and I was a teenage werebear. I guess that was his short. I must have missed that one.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be... We're talking about the movie review that we just did in the car. Even though, it was a few days ago.
Okay, so moving...
Do you have anything to add?
No. For me, and some people would argue... Well, whatever. People argue. This is why I describe our podcast as a light podcast, a light horror, because we talk about what we feel, what we see, what we think about things, as opposed to deconstructing the whole thing. I'm a huge fan of the Insidious movies. I like them all. Yeah. And I think this, like I said before, it continues in the vein of the other ones, and therefore it was a good movie. And
I go in totally biased.
Yeah.
I'm so stupid happy when new Insidious movies come out, and if she's prominent in it, I'm already just... They can't do a bad one.
Okay.
If you love her and you love the feel of those movies, it's like if you love the first one, I feel like you're going to love all of them. Though people have told me that is in fact not true.
Okay.
And we also found out yesterday that one of our closest friends, Little Brian, has not seen any of the Insidious movies.
And again, I always have to paraphrase this by saying Little Brian is little only in that we know Brian that's almost close to 6.5, 7 feet tall, where Brian is only 6 feet tall. He's as tall as I am.
Little Brian's a lot taller than me, so...
So enough nuttiness about that. The movie you were thinking about?
Oh, the one where, I didn't know if you were leaving that in or editing it out. But if you do leave it in, which now you're going to have to because I'm talking, or you could edit this out also. But yeah, it's the movie where she played mother to a boy with some issues. Man, she had issues too. That was a very strange independent film.
Yeah.
But we got the title here. Jack Goes Home.
Jack Goes Home. All right.
Yeah, that was a weird one. I didn't like seeing her. She made me very uncomfortable. So she did a great job.
I gotcha. So a ton to cover here in Garbage In, Garbage Out. We finally caught up with a few shows, such as Season 2 of Stranger Things.
Right.
Absolutely awesome.
Right.
I could watch twice as many episodes as I did.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely one that I would...
Everybody loves it.
Yeah, I think so.
Though I can't help but feel like if you're under a certain age, even if you love it, like you're missing a lot of the references, the 80s references, and like if you
some of its subtle charm.
Yes, like
Okay.
I love, the boys like quoting from Lord of the Rings and stuff, and I don't mean the movie, though some of these quotes were in the movie, but there's just little things that I appreciate so much, and it makes it so awesome.
All right.
I mean, it's a feast.
So going back a little ways, talking about the fact that we've just gotten rid of Netflix. Some time ago we got rid of TV. Now we're back to having TV, though we just have antenna TV.
Yeah, we just have
not
an antenna.
Not the show or not the network antenna TV, which is something else entirely. We have
It's on there,
TV through an antenna. Okay.
And I found out also, if you're under a certain age, you don't know what the H I'm talking about when I tell you we have an antenna. Oh, dear. I went round and round and round with my niece, like trying to, and then I realized, you know what? When she was born, cable had existed already for a decade, or longer. So she has no idea. TV before cable is like not even a...
TV is just magic.
I don't think she believes me.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, because she thought it was installing a device that was ripping off the neighbors or something, somehow stealing their thing.
It was like taking other people's signal and getting TV that way. It's like, no, that's just a television signal that's out there for anyone to grab. All you have to do is buy an antenna.
Anyhow, my point
was like magic.
My point was going back to, we caught American Horror Story. We ended partway between, or we didn't see Roanoke. We didn't see that whole season. We only saw a couple episodes of that. We didn't see the whole thing.
So we finished Roanoke.
So we went back. I want to say that I think, with a few caveats, it's my favorite of the American Horror Stories.
Okay.
Barring the first one, because I liked the first one. It was such a nice surprise and so on. It was good. I appreciate what they're doing in the other seasons as far as, but I mean, it's shock value. This one felt more cohesive to me.
Yeah.
So I liked the Roanoke.
Did you like the way it was done? The reality TV show and
a show within a show
within a show within a show.
Yeah, and I appreciated those things. I wouldn't want to see it again. I wouldn't want to see that done again.
No.
But it was good and fresh, and I enjoyed it. Yep, and always.
Yeah.
And so on. Okay.
I mean, it wasn't unique because a lot of movies do that, but it was unique to American Horror Story.
Right.
They really stepped out of their formula and did something very different. And I'm sorry, Kathy Bates. That's,
As always. So this one would be somewhat controversial. I enjoyed Death Note. Okay. The live-action Netflix Death Note.
Controversial.
Yeah. For anybody that likes the manga or likes the anime, it's not the same thing. It isn't. It didn't try to be the same thing.
The fans hate it.
Yeah, and maybe I didn't get all the way through all of the Death Note series enough to get that attached to it.
Right.
So I was able to enjoy it for what it was. It wasn't the same as, and I get that.
Yeah.
But I liked it for what it was.
I did too.
It was entertaining.
Yeah.
You could feel the gaps in it.
Right. Well, yeah, it flew right along.
Yeah. But, anyhow.
Yeah, I could see the problems with it, but it didn't bother me. I was entertained watching it, and, I don't know.
Okay. It was entertainment. I might even watch it again.
Okay.
I shot Andy Warhol.
Yes.
That wasn't a confession.
Lily Taylor.
That was a movie.
I love Lily Taylor.
Well, that kind of ties in with American Horror Story, not Roanoke, but the last American Horror Story that was just on. And
Cult.
Cult, yeah, exactly. Ties in loosely there, only because you learn more about characters that you saw in each.
Well, if you watched Cult, and if you liked that episode where Andy Warhol was in there, and when Valerie shoots him, if you're interested in that at all, I just have to say it was nothing like it was an American Horror Story. They really had fun with that and made it seem like, that was not her story. So if you're interested in her story, I would totally recommend renting. Is that what you call it these days?
I don't know.
Streaming, purchasing,
viewing, whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
I Shot Andy Warhol is the title, and Lily Taylor is great in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's move on to video games. I can't believe we left out Katamari Forever. Since it featured prominently in last week's artwork.
Yeah, that was a great background there.
It's still in our background now, though faded out. But anyhow, yeah, that was as one of those. That's a weird Japanese game where it's really tough to describe it to somebody that's not familiar with video games already. And even if you are familiar with video games, it's a little bit difficult.
Right.
So you roll up things in a ball, Katamari. So you start with small things like paper clips. You then do maybe erasers and then staplers, and then you build up until you're like collect this gigantic ball of
Katamari
everything.
gets bigger and bigger, and
it's a point. Well,
it's
Earth stars.
I would describe it as a puzzle game in the way that it's. I mean, it's just a puzzle game. Maybe makes it sound lame. I don't know, but you're given different tasks, and you have to
time to complete them sometimes.
Yeah,
and
they're time trials. Right. You have to know what to collect.
A certain amount of skill or a certain amount of learning curve involved with it and stuff like that. It's
oh my
a
gosh,
kooky
so
game.
Fun, though.
Here's how we came about.
It's so therapeutic.
Getting that though was you got me a grab bag T-shirt.
Yeah, from T Fury.
T Fury that was a mashup of Hello Katamari with Hello Kitty in a Katamari style ball of yarn, and she was in his suit or whatever. I don't know.
It was,
but it
very
got us.
Weird.
Yeah, that was weird enough. So like we didn't know what it was, so we did some investigation.
Yeah, because it said "Hello Katamari" on the shirt.
Yeah,
and we were like, "What am I even looking at?"
So we've since become aficionados of the game.
Yeah, because that was years ago, and I went on, I think I probably YouTubed it and saw somebody playing Katamari, and you could pick up older, because there's several Katamari games. Right. They're not new, obviously. So yeah, I picked up one for cheap, and oh my gosh, instantly addicting. So yes, now we have Katamari Forever for the PS3, and it's just so fun. I could play it like for hours and hours.
And you have.
Yes,
a brief mention of Bioshock, which was another game that I got some time ago.
It is a lot of stuff.
It is a lot of stuff. I'm cutting it there. I know there are other things that we've seen and talked about in the meantime, you and I.
You didn't finish Bioshock.
I did not know because I got distracted with some other stuff, which I'll save till next week, I think.
You had video game overload this holiday season.
Totally. And there's just not enough time between everything we were rewatching.
And then what did you try to do, like, the day before Christmas? We're in GameStop, and you're picking up wanting to buy all these games.
Yeah.
And here I had a bunch of them under the tree for you wrapped. So
already wrapped.
I had to, that spoiled a few.
Spoiled a little bit there, yeah.
Don't shop for yourself a day before Christmas.
Well, I had Christmas money burn a hole in my pocket. So, I'm going to hand this to you for just one moment. And I'm going to say, do you want to say anything about the video that we recorded, the show? We shot last week's show. Do you have any explanation for Walter about the candy cane or anything else that you know? Okay.
No. So for those who don't know, last week's episode, while we recorded, he felt it necessary to videotape himself. What is it, like 38 minutes long or something?
It's the whole episode.
Okay. There's... Okay. There's way too many topics going on right now. I was going to explain the dill pickle candy cane. Now I don't know what to say.
It was a pickle Christmas.
It was a pickle Christmas.
I got pickle candy. I got a yodeling pickle.
Yes. What does that have to do with you filming yourself while we recorded last week?
Oh, just that we're going to do that again. That one was exclusive for the patrons, for better or worse. I don't think anybody really cares to watch this.
You started talking about it, though, because of the pickle candy cane.
Because of the pickle candy cane.
Well, we were recording. I am not on camera, but I guess I felt it necessary to show everybody a dill pickle candy cane. And our dear friend in New York of
Walter.
Daemonium fame and soon
Daemonium, which is now on Netflix.
Yes, it is. And Plaga Zombie American Invasion fame, soon to be famous.
Yeah.
Yes, Walter. And he appreciated the weird candy cane part of the video. I don't know.
It's just getting weirder.
I'm glad he enjoyed it. So are people able to view the video if they'd like?
No, I'm not.
It was a
putting it
patron
up. That was a patron
right?
exclusive. But I will film another one and stuff. Not that anybody really cares to see this.
I better have more props and stuff to keep people entertained.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that just watching you sit and talk for 45 minutes isn't entertaining. But I could maybe help you out a little.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyhow, should we move on to...
We better.
This
is way too long. Sorry, everybody. I know this is Vicis and Interimo, 30 minutes to kill, more or less. This week it's definitely more.
Yeah.
Okay, crawling chaos music. All right.
So, for crawling chaos, I don't know, is it lame that I just keep giving links and stuff? Here's the thing. Vicis and Interimo, depending on the movies, we're always about the story. It always is. When we watch movies, we watch them because we enjoy the story, and it doesn't have to have great special effects and so on. If it's about that's it. So, I've come across Crash Course, which is a YouTube channel. And most specifically, like the oldest stories that we've told or are told to each other were oral traditions, and it was the mythologies. I mean, it was whatever. So there's a whole section on world mythology. So you can pick any mythological, just about any subject you want.
From different cultures?
Just about any culture. It's world mythology, so they have things from your Egyptian, your North, your creation myth throughout, and comparing them, what the pantheons of the gods are, what Ragnarok means, or what it's, and they kind of pick, and it's kind of condensed into a 10 or 15 minute segment. So for each one, and it's that's
kind of cool. Yeah, for people that are interested in the mythology behind some of the stuff. Well, we always are interested, and it's more interesting, and like we always want to know the history, or where did that come from, or and it's awesome when it's taken from a real
thing. And the first one that I came across actually was the Wendigo. Mm-hmm. And it was something I clicked on when I was supposed to be doing some other work, probably. Well, no, it was just something, so I immediately thought of Ravenous, but the explanation of the Wendigo, what happens and how it's created and so on. So it was just interesting to hear all those things in just a quick 10-minute section or whatever. You know, the 10 labors of Hercules, how violent they were, and how come there were actually 12 instead of the 10 that he was.
I heard you listening to that the other day.
Yeah, well, he got disqualified on 2 of them. So. I now know why palm trees have flat fronds.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, the sky was pressing in on the earth so much so that Maui flattened them out, and so Maui had to to give us more space here. He had to do
Maui the god?
Maui the god, not just the island, the god.
Okay.
So he fished up the island in New Zealand. And anyhow, interesting stuff like that. I know this is totally weird, but...
No, I
It's-
think that there's some people out there I think that would find that really interesting.
Maybe.
I mean, and I'm you've got the page up right now, and you're kind of scrolling through it, and it looks like there's a ton of different things.
Well, there's about 38 different ones, and
Yeah,
they
that's-
cover not
that's
only
cool.
just, not each one is just a specific topic.
Right.
They may cover 2 or 3 pantheons, or they mix them.
So
and
any
match
culture
them.
that you're maybe interested in, or I see all the different creation stories for lots of different
Right.
places. That's that could be really interesting to go through.
This is coming from somebody that like bought all of Joseph Campbell's lectures on
Yeah.
on the hero's journey and so on. So that's why I find it so interesting. But
Okay, so you'll have a link for this in
I'll
the
have a
show
link to this
notes.
in the show notes.
Are you going to link just to their channel?
Just to the channel, so you can pick and choose what you want. Or maybe I'll find the one about the Wendigo.
Okay,
and-
well, and now, because now I'm going to ask you, you said the YouTube channel is called Crash Course?
Right, but World
Just
Mythology.
Crash Course.
is a channel, but World Mythology is one of them in there. There are other things that you could choose.
Because I wasn't aware, I see they have them in categories.
Yes.
So you go to the Crash Course page, and then you could scroll down, and you see all the different categories of videos they have. So
Right, whether it be films, film criticism, study skills, philosophy, physics. There's it's kind of like, I almost want to say it's kind of like a Khan Academy
only for
light.
for things that aren't math or science.
Yeah, exactly. Aren't all
Or
math
for the
and science.
philosophies or
Right.
stories.
Indeed.
Cool.
Anyhow, I think we've gone probably about as long as we need to here and then some.
Probably.
I want to thank everybody, and of course thank our patrons, and those would be at Lonely Bob, Big Al V, and Goldafish. I'm not saying that anybody else will want to kick in $1 just so they get to see that first video, but
I wouldn't recommend it.
we do have a Patreon page that people are welcome to contribute to help keep the madness going. I think that's it.
I think it is.
Thanks for listening.